And former New York Stock Exchange Chairman and CEO Dick Grasso is here. Dick, it's great to have you this morning.
Maria, thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for being here. And I showed the pin that you gave me earlier to viewers, and I wore this specifically, and I know you have yours on as well. You want to tell us a little about this pin?
Well, thank you for honoring the first responders. That pin represents the Twin Towers, a heart in the background, and the numbers 23, 343, and 37. 23 New York police officers perished that day, 343 firefighters from the city of New York, and 37 Port Authority police officers. In total, 403 first responders performed the greatest rescue in the history of this country. 25,000 people were able to get out of those towers alive thanks to the sacrifice of those 403. And I remember them as we all should remember them, because those 25,000 people went home to families and friends, but those 403 never went home again. And it is in their memory that I created that pin with the geniuses at London Jewelers here in New York. And I wear it only on this day each year to never forget the sacrifice that those wonderful men and women made.
Amazing that it is 18 years ago today. 2,977 of our brothers and sisters lost their lives. We are commemorating the September 11th attacks this morning. You experienced the terror firsthand. I was with you at the New York Stock Exchange. You showed incredible leadership, Dick. Thank you for your leadership on that day. Your takeaways today, 18 years later.
You're very kind, but, you know, it's all about those first responders who were going up the stairs when people were evacuating the buildings. And my folks who were in the building, actually Tower 2, I had 149 people there. Those who would talk about it would only ever mention the fact that each of the first responders, whether they were firefighters or police officers, would grab their arm and say, "Keep going, you're going to be fine." And so many people who are today alive, who are coming down those stairs today, thank, and every day of their lives, thank those people who made the ultimate sacrifice. We over at 11 Wall Street, we were 1,000 yards away from the second tower, and my first concern was, of course, my own people who were in Tower 2, and thank God they all got out alive. But you look at the day, and you look at you know, the tragedy, and it's a terrible reminder that freedom is not free. There are people around the world who are so envious of our way of life and the American dream. I was privileged and blessed to lead the epitome of capitalism for 8.5 years, and it was that, if you will, symbol that was so important to get back up and running. And I have to thank all of the first responders for what they did that day and in days following, but also the great people at Verizon and Con Ed who made it possible for us to resume business under the most heinous of circumstances. And of course, the leadership that was provided by Rudy Giuliani and George Pataki, and certainly the president. But locally here, Bernie Kerik and Tommy Von Essen and Richie Shearer, all heroes, all gave us the inspiration to get back to business, because getting back to business wasn't about business. It was about saying to the terrorists, you failed. You've killed thousands of people, destroyed billions in property, but America lives on.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because one of the most important recollections for me, aside from what we endured on that day and watching this take place from the street corner of Wall and Broad, and then being with you in your office later that day, one of the most important recollections I have will be Monday, September 17th. Because on Monday, September 17th, I was on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange, and it was a scary day. The markets were going to open again. Dick Grasso, you pushed the idea that we needed to open, and we needed to make the world know that we would go on and we were strong. And I remember looking at that podium, and that's the picture right there, when you were up there at the podium with the mayor and the governor and all the first responders. The firemen were there, and I was standing in the crowd on the floor, and all I could think was, We were in mourning. We were so upset. We lost our friends. We lost our families. We were down, but we were not out.
That's really the message that opening bell sent, and how poignant it was that none of those politicians, from the mayor, the governor, the Treasury Secretary, our 2 senators, none of them got to ring the opening bell. It was a firefighter, a police officer, an EMS person, and they were the heroes, and they were the ones that said to bin Laden and all of his merry, terrorists, you failed. You cannot beat the American way of life with this attack. Killed thousands, destroyed billions in property, but the American spirit lives on. And those great four first responders, you see them on the bell podium with me, including Billy Fisher. After he rang the bell, he's the police officer from ESU. He pumps his bicep as if to say, you're never going to stop us. And he was so right.
And then they all came down on the floor, and I interviewed you all to talk about that. And there was such strength in that room and leadership to make sure to send that message.
That was what it was all about. And it was one of the, perhaps the only moment in my history on the financial markets that everyone had a common purpose. Whether you were Goldman Sachs or Merrill Lynch or Morgan Stanley, you took off that jersey and you put on the American flag, and everyone worked for a common purpose. And that opening bell said, America lives on. And it lives to honor the memory of those we lost, but also to send a message that freedom can never be beaten by terrorism.
It's an unbelievable day.
Dick and Maria, I don't mean to interview you, but people need to realize what the conditions of that part of the city were like when you reopened, of what it was like for days and weeks and even months after that. The acrid smell in the air, it was devastation everywhere. And for people to go to work every day, I think that unless you were down there, people don't realize what that was like.
The stench was with us for, what, months after.
Oh, yeah.
And I know that the exchange, you were giving everybody masks. We were wearing those white masks as we were coming in and out of the exchange because it was such a stench of fire.
Ironically, Dagan, to your point, the second day that we were open, the 18th, we opened the front doors for the first time, and the odor really was directly coming from Tower 2. And ironically, I got a call that morning, and people were very upset with the odor. I got a call that morning from Stephen McDonald, okay, the New York City police officer who had been crippled. He was in a wheelchair for years, having been shot on the streets of New York performing his duty. And he said to me, Dick, is there something I can do? And I said, Stephen, where are you? And he was at ground zero. And I said, come on over here. I want you to come on the floor and lift everyone's spirits. And sure enough, when he rolled onto that trading floor, people said, you know what? This is what strength is about. This is what bravery is about. And I was so proud to be behind Stephen's chair. He's since passed away, but boy, he helped us resolve that nothing would stop our way of life. And I'm very proud, to your point, Dagan, about weeks and months of really adverse conditions in terms of electricity, in terms of air conditioning, whatever it was. But all of the providers, the Verizon folks, the Con Ed folks, yep, the OEM people from the city of New York, I mean, they worked as a team to make sure that the stock exchange could function. Only time in the history of the exchange that the opening bell was rung by the chairman together with the CEO of NASDAQ and the CEO of the American Stock Exchange, and the closing up at NASDAQ, I was there. As I said to Maria, everyone took off their respective team jerseys, and we all played as Americans. It was a very proud moment for everyone in the financial community. Broker-dealers, great tragedy at my dear friend Herman Sandler's firm. He lost so many people, as did Howard Lutnick. But everyone came to their aid and said, what can we give you to get you back in business?
The world came to our aid. It's true.